Happy New Year. We are back. Welcome to season 2 of Picture This. You just saw the intro, but what the hell? I'm Matt.
Dan.
Kayla.
Seth.
Hey, welcome everybody. We had a few weeks off. How is everybody doing? Does everybody have a good Christmas? Good New Year's? How's everybody?
I'm sad because Betty White died.
Spoilers for the news.
Way to start off on a
I didn't know if it was going to be included,
Positive.
so I was like,
Way to bring it down at the top of the show.
He wasn't going to include it, see?
Well, the good news, Matt, is it's only up from here.
It can't go much lower. I mean, we started with death. So,
Oh God, yeah, sorry.
Seth, you doing okay?
I'm doing good, yeah. How about you, Matt?
I'm wonderful. Well, that's good. I know it's been a long break, but has anybody watched anything that stands out over the last couple weeks? I feel like I did, but I don't remember.
I have some noteworthy news for you, and not a part of the news segment. So Matt is already ahead of this, and he's very excited about this. But if you all have been following my story from season 1, you all know I'm a very avid Keanu Reeves, I wouldn't say hater, but I don't like his movies very much. He just
I would use the word hater.
And of course Matt would, because Matt's a hateful man. But I'm here to say I have watched, 4 Keanu Reeves movies, which is
at least 5.
4 more than what I've seen in the past. I watched all the Matrix movies. Oh, and actually it has been 5. I watched all 4 Matrix movies. And then I also watched Constantine. So I can't say my judgment on Keanu is any different, but I can say that I do want to watch a couple others of his just to say I've seen them, but we'll see. There's no rush for me.
You watched Speed, right? I sent it to you. I mailed it to you.
You bought it for me, and I've watched Speed. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
That's how badly I wanted him to watch that movie, and he just refused. I was like, if I send it to him, he's gonna watch it.
I think that was honestly the worst thing you could have done, because you would build it up in your head that I was gonna love it. And it's gonna be this magical moment, and
I think you should go back and rewatch it now that you've had a Keanu
I really don't want to.
Renaissance.
Do not want to.
I think you should go back and rewatch it and see if your opinion of it changes.
I'm not enjoying this Renaissance. I enjoyed Matrix 2, and that's about it.
Well, then why put yourself through it?
What did you enjoy?
Second Matrix movie.
Okay.
Matrix 3 was all right. Matrix 1, no. Not for me.
Dan and Kayla, what did you watch? Anything stand out?
So, no, I think the highlight of our, one of the highlights was still going to see No Way Home. But outside of that, I did go see the Matrix in theaters with a friend. Resurrections. I actually enjoyed it. I know I'm going to be kind of counter to Seth on that, but
No. I didn't include that. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm going to cut you off, but no, I enjoyed it. It wasn't great. It wasn't even good. I mean, I don't know how to say. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I would say it's good. I'll say that. It's a movie, and I had fun with it. It was actually it was the second Matrix movie that I watched. I watched the first one and I hated it, and didn't have any desire to watch any other Matrix movies. And I actually watched this one, the newest one, because my mom loves those movies and she wanted to watch it. So I watched it, and it actually made me want to watch the other 2, which is weird. But so sorry, Dan. Back to you.
very good. Did we watch Encanto before we took a break?
Oh, we did watch Encanto, the Pixar, I think it was. Pixar or Disney? I don't know. It's one of the 2.
One of the 2.
That was really good, actually. That was excellent. The music was really good. I think we enjoyed it more than the kids did, honestly. And then Reese watched it the next day, and I watched it again. No, what else? Oh, we watched The Green Knight.
Oh yes,
Yeah, we watched
Molly,
it.
you want to make a cameo on the Green Knight?
Huh?
That was the worst movie ever.
Yeah,
It sucked so bad.
we
It really
agree.
did.
Very hard to get into.
was
It was such a
Awful.
disappointment. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
disappointment.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree.
No. It was just
I didn't
weird
watch it.
all the way around.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
No.
The only good part was the lead actor. He was the only good part in that movie. And then everything
Okay,
else
so let
was
me
like,
ask you a question because I was asking Seth. So, the lady that the guy fell in love with, that had the really short hair. Okay, cute girl, right? She ends up having his child. The lady in the castle, was she the same person? It looked the exact same. She was gorgeous, long hair.
I have no idea.
I'm thinking, yeah.
I don't know. I was confused. And then the lady
Very
with the
weird
head in the
movie.
lake, I was like, I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, that movie, the like
The
99th out of 100th movie ever made. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah, right above Speed.
But then again, anyway, I'm gonna go. It was a horrible movie. Hey, is Rick?
Thanks. Appreciate that.
It's good to see everybody.
Good
You
to
too.
see you.
Happy New
Good
Year.
night.
Hey, Happy New Year!
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Stop
There's our
by
little
anytime.
cameo for the evening.
So we watched
Can't
that.
believe.
And yeah, it was really confusing. It was actually kind of a letdown because I was really looking forward to it like pretty much all year because we saw it was in theaters in the summer and we were like gonna go see it, but then we're like, maybe not.
I think we kind of had a
Um,
toss up whether or not we wanted to see Green Knight or Last Duel, and we ended up going Green Knight. And
No, it wasn't that. No, it wasn't that. It was Last Night in Soho, I'm pretty sure. No, which one was that? I don't remember. We
And you
flipped
didn't
a
see
coin.
either one.
Remember we flipped a coin? Yes, it was the Green Knight. No, I don't remember.
I mean, we ended up
I
watching
think
Green
I
Knight.
think I'm like imagining that in my head. But off the topic of movies, real quick, we started a new television show
Oh,
on
yeah.
HBO Max called Succession, and it's excellent. It's freaking fantastic.
The guy who plays in The Gentleman.
The Gentleman,
is in
yeah.
it.
Yes, his name in the show is Kendall Roy, but his name is Jeremy Strong.
Jeremy Strong.
That's his actor name.
But
His
definitely.
actor name, that's his name.
Anyways, we're gonna kick it back over to Matt at this point, but yeah, worth a watch if you get a chance.
Yeah, you watch it.
Heads up, boys and girls, this is going to be a long episode. We got a lot to cover. We've been gone for at least 4 weeks at this point, maybe 5 by the time this airs. I'm not sure. But really quickly, I was saying I watched things, but I didn't remember what I watched. Well, I don't know how I could forget. I've been watching Christian Bale all month long so far. I started doing this thing that I used to do when I was younger, and like I would pick like certain actors and like try to watch like all their movies. Well, I've dubbed that the actor of the month, and Christian Bale is my first pick. I've got a bunch of actors' names and just kind of throw them in a randomizer, and Christian Bale's who I got, and I was okay with it. So I was like, okay, let's try this. And he's someone that I've always enjoyed, but never like, oh, Christian Bale, you know, it was just like, oh, Christian Bale, yeah, that'll be good. I have, so with that appreciation already being there, I have a whole new appreciation for Christian Bale. The man is brilliant. And he's been acting, which I knew that he'd been acting since he was like a kid, but I didn't realize like, I mean, he was like 12 or 11 or something when he did Empire of the Sun in the 80s, the Steven Spielberg movie. And that is just phenomenal. That blew me away. And he carries that whole movie. The 11, 12-year-old Christian Bale is the star and holds that whole movie together. Without him, it doesn't work. And so just going through his filmography, I watched Newsies, which is a musical, a Disney thing from the 90s. And he's still kind of young, but getting to that Christian Bale that we all know point. That was good. Like, I didn't think I was going to enjoy that, but it was good. Like, I gotta say, now that I'm to the point where I'm getting into the Batman stuff and the, the more recent things, I'm almost not as enjoying them as much, maybe because I've already seen them, but like as much as I did like his earlier stuff, I was having fun with that. So I've watched a lot of Christian Bale's movies, and I'm looking forward to see what happens in February, who I end up going through. And then I also watched the Harry Potter reunion thing on HBO, which I thought was sweet. And it made me want to rewatch all of those, which I didn't, but it made me want to. And then the last thing I watched was The Tender Bar, the new movie on Amazon Prime, directed by George Clooney, starring Ben Affleck. That was okay. I had very high hopes for that because it looked great. So my expectations were like at a 10, and it delivered at maybe like a 7. So it was a little lower than what I'd hoped, but it was still a good movie.
Appointed by Affleck.
Oh gosh. Oh, the news is next. It's been a while. So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first episode, you probably think we're all over the place, and we are. But Seth here down bottom used to send me the news in links and Instagram and text and Snapchat and every way he can message me. Seth and I have like 3 different conversations going on at once, usually through different platforms. And he sends me the news, and I say, hey, save it for the show, bro. So Seth has the news, and of course we've been gone for like 5 weeks, so he's not going to report all the news. But Seth, what do you got for us?
Well, not very much, but I want to like get on a couple highlights that are going on right now. I think currently biggest thing in superhero news, besides Spider-Man, is the new Batgirl movie that's happening on HBO Max. I believe it's happening there. They keep switching things around, but that has started filming, and now set photos are coming out. And we had, I believe it was yesterday, there was a set photo of Batman and Robin, a mural on a brick wall, which is, if you're following that movie at all, Michael Keaton is going to be Batman or Bruce Wayne in that movie. So you can only assume that the mural is Michael Keaton's Batman alongside one of his Robins, because if you're reading the comic book that's going on right now, he had a different first Robin. So we're like trying to figure out who this Robin is, what's going on, and very exciting. I know I'm very pumped about it. So
But we're not meant to believe that this is Chris O'Donnell on the mural.
no, it is not.
Okay.
Matt, you know the in the comic, his Robin is what's his name?
I know he's had several Robins in the
Grayson?
Yeah,
comics.
Dick Grayson.
No,
There's
no,
Jason-
Michael Keaton's Batman. In
Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Dick Grayson.
no. Talking about the Batman '89 comic.
Oh,
'Cause they made a new Robin for Michael Keaton's Batman.
yeah.
And-
Well, that was supposed to be not Wesley Snipes, but whoever the cat was that was supposed to play Robin in Batman Returns, that still gets a check because he was cast and then cut out of the movie. He still gets a residual check from Warner Brothers. A little
Mhm.
FYI. Wayans, one of the Wayans brothers,
yeah,
Marlon Wayans, I think, was
something like
supposed to
that.
play Robin
yeah.
in Batman
But on
Returns.
this mural in the Batgirl like set photo, it's not his Robin from this comic book run that's going on. It's a different one, which means he's had more than one Robin, which is nothing new for Batman, but it's exciting. Moving on, Rooney Mara is set to star in a Audrey Hepburn biopic, which is happening sometime soon.
I saw that.
Next up is Bel-Air, the new dramatic take on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, not including Will Smith. So why even do it?
Well, Will Smith is like producing or something, right?
Does not matter. There's
I was-
no need.
I'll say yes, he is.
There's
but-
no need.
So he's involved. I mean, when they announced this, I never expected Will Smith to be involved in it, like on camera.
There's some things you don't touch, and that is one of them.
I fully agree. I'm just stating the fact. It's not a letdown because I never expected Will Smith to be on screen.
Either way. So touching on some superhero news once again, Spider-Man No Way Home has crossed over $1 billion in a pandemic, which is insane. I believe it's at like what, 1.5 billion something stupid like
1.6,
that.
I think I saw
Yeah,
last.
something ridiculous like that. This movie is making all the money, rightfully so. It's phenomenal, and watch it while you can in theaters, and then buy it again when you can buy it at home in February.
It is definitely a theater experience. So if you can, definitely go.
Yes,
I
saw it
know
twice in theaters.
I just read that it passed The Dark Knight financially, which was one of the highest grossing movies of all time. Used to be the highest grossing. So I mean, it's well on its way to be the biggest movie in the world ever. So we'll see.
Yeah,
More
I
power
don't
to
think it's gonna cross Endgame or Titanic, but it's definitely gonna be up there.
Yeah.
So, and finally on the news, I'm not gonna touch on the deaths that have happened recently.
We have to.
Unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately, I don't want to talk about sad stuff like that. I just we all heard about it. It's been spread around enough in the 2 days that it's happened. So I'm sure we're all aware of all the deaths that have happened.
RIP.
But my last piece of news, sticking to the superhero-esque, supervillain, whatever, Jared Leto's Morbius has been delayed for the millionth time again. It was set to come out this month, and now it's pushed to April 1st. Some are assuming it's to include Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man into it.
I heard that. Yeah,
Fingers crossed, please.
that would be awesome.
But I don't know. It could be because of COVID. It could be for bigger and better things. I guess we'll have to wait and find out April 1st. So
At
that's
this
all I'm going to talk
point,
about.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm done.
I was gonna say at this point, I don't even want to watch the movie.
Oh, I do.
Like,
I'm
it's
excited
been
for it.
delayed so much. It's like, what's the thrill of it at this point? I don't know. That's
You know
just
who
me,
won't
like,
be in it? You know who won't be in it?
Mel
Michael
Gibson.
Keaton? Oh, no, he will.
Betty White and Bob Saget.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, who's the other guy?
And
Sidney
No,
Sydney-
they could still be in it because
Poitier.
CGI.
What's that?
They could be CGI'd into it.
They
I guess
might.
they could do that with Betty White too. Yeah.
Yeah. But they won't be in Morbius because why, Seth? Seth didn't report it, but they have passed on. So even though for whatever reason he doesn't want to report it and he's the news guy, we have to touch that.
We've all heard it. We've all talked about it.
Well, you have to make an ode to those legends. I
Yeah,
mean,
your
you
heart's-
have to be like
Yeah, your hearts go out to those people,
Yeah.
especially because I mean I know for us too, like they helped kind of shape what we grew up watching. So
Like I have a cleaning fixation and like I took after Danny Tanner, Bob Saget's character in Full House a lot because I grew up like I watched that show every day. So
I love Full House. Don't
yeah.
get me wrong. I love it.
I hate to tell you, but I used to sit down and watch Golden Girls with my mom pretty much every day after school. So I knew Blanche and I knew all those guys, and she was the last Golden Girl left, and now she's among them now. So
Did you see, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I apologize, but you know what? It's okay. There was this meme or something that this was before Betty White passed away. I'm going to try to get to this without crying. I should be all right. But, and I don't really know the Golden Girls that well. Like I've seen it, but I never got into it. I guess there was an episode where they are all discussing, I think it was season 4 or something from what I've read, but I don't know. Don't hold me to that. Where they're all discussing, well, what will happen one day when there's only one of us left, like when they're all gone and there's only one of us left. And I think, I don't know if it's Betty White, but one of the characters says, well, we'll just have to remember the good times that we've had together. Someone posted something that said they should do a short, like 30-minute thing special with Betty White sitting at the graves of all the other characters, like her in character, and just have it be like a flashback episode, remembering the characters. And then at the end, she goes to leave, and then I'm gonna cry. She looks back and she says, "Thank you for being a friend." And I thought that tore me up. And I thought that is brilliant. And then of course we lost Betty White. So that, not that it was ever going to happen, but that can never happen now, unfortunately. And it's just very sad that we've lost those iconic, huge legends in the business.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, especially on the very last day of the year. That's like the most heartbreaking news to hear. And I remember we were sitting in the living room and my sister is like, but like she like was over and she was like, Betty White died. And I'm like, no way. I was like, that's got to be no way. They just posted that. And then we Google it and then we're literally screaming, all of us, like, oh my God, she died. I don't know. It's really sad, to be honest, because it's one of those figures that, you know, you cling to in a time of hope. And then at the end of the year, every year, you're like, well, Betty White made it through another year. I don't know.
The comfort thing, like
yeah.
those the Betty Whites and the Bob Saget's and the
Yeah.
people you grew up with, it's comfort. It makes you feel comfortable. And then without that gone, it's like taking away a blanket from a kid. It's like,
It sucks.
yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, well, definitely thoughts and prayers with the families, and you know, it's just a couple less lights in the world, unfortunately now. To lead us forward.
Oh, and then I saw something that said, the house is a little less full tonight. So, oh God, it tore me up. Like it's just, it's been like, I've been going, I can't even get on the internet because I just cry reading these things that people are posting. Anyway, lighter note, I guess that's why Seth didn't want to talk about it. I tasked everyone with homework, but we are going to get to the movie. If you're here for the movie, which I doubt you are, but if you're here for the movie, that is coming. I tasked these folks here with homework at the end of the year last year. It feels weird to say that. To come up with a top 10 list of 2021. We gave it to the end of the years and a couple weeks after, so everyone could see hopefully everything they wanted to see for that year, or at least try to. So we're going to jump into that. Does anyone want to go first, or should I go first, or how does everyone want to do this?
Do you just want to skip the guessing game, just run it alphabetical?
Of who goes when?
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so that means I go first. Okay, mine's gonna be kind of long because I'm gonna go into why I feel like these are on my top 10. And also, sorry, because you're gonna listen to me talk for a while again. I made 3 lists. I made a top 10, I made a runner-up, and then I made an awful list. Okay. So sorry, Seth. I see you looking there like all tired and you're like, please God, let this be over. But I'm gonna go on, so I'm sorry. So you have your little cat. Look at your cat. That's freaking funny. Okay. So I'm going to go through starting at the top at number 1, of course. So this is Kayla's top 10 right here. Okay.
Wait. I'm sorry. You're starting at number 1, like this was your favorite movie, or you're starting?
Yes, or should I start at 10?
Start at the bottom.
I think you started at the bottom. Start at 10.
Okay.
And then if just a suggestion, you don't have to.
Wait.
But before you reveal number 1, maybe reveal your runner-ups.
Okay, sure. Okay, so this is starting at 10. So number 10 is this debuted on Netflix. It was Bo Burnham's Inside. It was kind of like a musical satire type of movie that he filmed in his home during the pandemic and then put it on Netflix. It's excellent. Lot of satire, which I love. It's my favorite thing. So then moving on to the next one, this is Mitchell vs. the Machines. This was an animated one that came on. Was it on Netflix?
Yes.
I think it was. This was excellent. This really surprised us. It was so funny, and there was so many actors in here, high name actors, and they really brought it. Like the animation, the script, it was great. Number 8 is Nobody. That's with oh my God, what's his face?
Bob Odenkirk.
Yes, that was a fantastic film. He blew me out of the water with this movie. I did not expect that kind of performance from him, and he was fantastic. This movie 100 times over. So good. Okay, number 7, I gotta put Dune there because literally, I would just watch a movie with Timothy Chalamet and Oscar Isaac all day. I would watch a 24-hour movie of that, so it was perfect for me. Number 6, Promising Young Woman. We watched this movie like February, I think. We had saw it, and we saw like trailers for it. This was fantastic. Carey Mulligan was excellent in this movie, and it's something to like you've got to watch till the very end to like the ending of it is absolutely perfect. So it lines up all the little stories and the characters to the very end. Have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
Seth, I'm not sure you would like it. If you didn't like Gone Girl, you probably wouldn't like this. So number 5 is Ghostbusters. This was great just for all the nostalgia, Paul Rudd. I mean, who doesn't love Paul Rudd? I love Paul Rudd. All the characters in this were perfect. I love the little kid. What was the heck was his name? What was the little kid's name? Oh my God. That like was a little geeky kid. Come on, I know. What was his name? Yes, he was great. So this was a good number 5 for me. So I'm halfway through the list. So number 4, it was a Netflix debuted movie, The Harder They Fall. This was excellent. This was a lot like Django Unchained, which I love that movie. That's in my top 10 anyway. But this had a stacked cast. This had wonderful music. The cinematography in this was beautiful. And they did phenomenal. I would have made this my number 1, but of course there were bigger ones. Number 3 was Shang-Chi. I mean Shang-Chi, duh. So it's like number 2 for me was the Demon Slayer Mugen Train. You guys don't really know anime, but this was an anime released movie. They released it in Japan first, and then they released it in the US, and in the US and Japan, it beat out Spirited Away, which for like an anime film is
highest grossing
huge.
anime
highest
film.
highest grossing in the US ever. And then it beat it in Japan too. So this movie was phenomenal. We love Demon Slayer, like literally our favorites. So that was my number 2 pick. I'm trying to rush through this because I can see Seth is bored out of his mind.
I'm not bored. I'm
He's got
focused.
a long ways to go.
I'm just joking with you, bud. Okay, so I'm gonna first do my awful list before my runner-ups. So this list is just called awful because they were literally awful. So Malignant was number 1. This was literally the most awful film I've ever seen in my life. I never want to watch it ever again. It's a waste of money. Number 2 is Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. I freaking hate this movie. It was so bad. Oh my God. The Woman in the Window, awful. It's a dumb premise. Amy Adams, you can do better. Things Heard and Seen, also awful. They should have never made this movie. It was so dumb. And last, this is straight contender with Malignant, The Tomorrow War. This was so bad. A waste of money.
I don't know if it was so bad as it was just overhyped.
It was a waste of money.
And then it turned out to be a letdown, kind of like you're building up for this great movie and it's just not.
$200 million down the freaking drain. Okay, so these are my runner-ups. Okay, so these are in no particular order. I just really enjoyed these films, and if I could do a top 20, 15, whatever, I would have. So A Quiet Place 2, Tick, Tick, Boom. Props to Andrew Garfield for winning that Golden Globe. That's awesome, dude. Don't Look Up. This was freaking fantastic. Love the satire. Love the political satire. My favorite kind of thing. Bad Trip. This was great. Eric Andre is freaking hilarious. Sorry, I'm getting so into this. Obviously, I took a lot of time into this. Luca. This was a great family fun film. It was so heartwarming. And also my last one is going to be Fear Street 1994. This was such a cool thing from Netflix to do. And then it became this kind of trilogy thing. So it was awesome. Love that they did that. I wish they would do more. I'm not really into like the gory, scary things, but this really was interesting. I loved it. Okay, number 1, you guys. If you didn't know and you didn't hear and listen what was on my list, okay, here we go. Spider-Man. That's my number 1. I think this film is one of the best Marvel films to ever come out. It had to take so much time and consideration to pull I don't want to do spoilers.
In the books, man.
It's been out for so
out.
long.
Yeah, for spoilers. If you haven't seen Spider-Man, turn this off and come back.
Okay, so it had to take so much time and consideration to pull Toby, Andrew, and Tom all together, and all the villains too, to make this film. This was a dream come true, and for Andrew to be in there in tears, like seriously, I would watch this movie 100 times more. I keep talking about it since I've seen it for the past like 3.5 weeks. I want to go see it again because I love it that much. I can't wait for it to come out because I feel like I'm going to watch it 100 times too. I mean, it's so much fun. I had fun in the theater. People were screaming, people were crying, people were laughing. That's exactly what you want out of a movie experience. Like that, it was perfect. Perfect for me. Top 10. I threw a couple others in there. Sorry, I talk a lot. That was my list, you guys.
Very nice. Thank you, Kayla.
You're welcome.
Mr. Dan.
Yeah, I guess that kicks it over to me. So I do apologize because I guess in the course of the year I watch a lot of the same movies Kayla does. I don't know how that happens. But anyways, my top 10 list is a little different, but some of the same ones recurring. Number 10 slot, Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was a good cap for me, childhood moment. Seeing those guys back on screen also is a nice little tidbit, but good movie overall. Army of the Dead, I thought was really good. Something that I wasn't really expecting. That's number 9 for me. Kind of put a new spin on some zombie movies for me. I actually enjoyed it. Enjoyed the action in it. Number 8. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one, Werewolves Within. But it was a pretty good movie. Again, follows kind of the same storylines you'd find in, I don't know, What We Do in the Shadows. If you guys enjoyed that movie, this might be a good watch for you. Again, a big one, number 7, Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. I thought that was a great movie. It was one I went into. I didn't know what to expect. Came out with a great appreciation of this character. I think Marvel did a good job in that one. Unfortunately, they had bigger plans coming up later down the year, so it wasn't my number 1 from them. 6, Kayla talked about this a little bit, Fear Street 1994. Again, a lot of horror elements in this. Have either of you guys seen this?
No, I wanted to. I just never got to it.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, old school horror elements. It's on Netflix. There are 3 parts to it, like Kayla has said. So it's an anthology, not really an anthology.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry. It's a 3 parts, but it works really well together. I think you guys should give it out, especially if you like horror movies. Next one, Nobody. I got a lot of notes off of this from it reminded me of The Equalizer, which is another movie that I really liked. And again, great action there. And again, I'm also a fan of like John Wick style. It's had a lot of action shooting scenes, people getting beat up. It's awesome. Next one, The Mitchells versus the Machines. Really good animated movie, really fun for me, the kids, Kayla to watch. Thought that was great. My number 3, Quiet Place Part 2. Really well done. I thought it was a really good sequel. I didn't know how they were going to top the first one. I actually enjoyed this one a little bit more than the first. Kind of hard for me to say. Number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought that it was an excellent movie. Again, like Kayla said, brought 3 of the Spider-Men together. Something that I don't think, I know it was something we all expected, but at the same time, they told us, no, this is not going to happen. And then when it did, you're like, oh man, that's great. Number 1, flipping Kayla on this, my number 1 for the year was Demon Slayer Mugen Train. And again, anime series, something that I didn't really think I'd get into, but at this stage in the game, Demon Slayer is becoming very popular. We're starting to collect pops. Like I know you guys know we have pop collections. They're thrown up here all over the place. And a couple honorable mentions. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but Free Guy, good movie, worth a watch. Cruella, I thought actually did really well. But that was a good one. Gunpowder Milkshake.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And Promising Young Woman. All good movies. Honestly, they all kind of made me think. Oh, I also had Addams Family 2 on here just because I don't know why. But this movie cracked me up. It was something that I wasn't really expecting. Like in the beginning, it was like, and then it's like, okay, now we got over the hump and it was great. So again, sorry if my picks are a little strange, but I guess I'm kicking it back over to you, Mr. Winstead.
I'm just very surprised that you're number one. Seth, this is just a check-in to make sure you're still breathing.
I'm good.
Okay, just checking.
You weren't blinking, so it was kind
I
of
know.
creepy.
It's been
Okay.
a long week. I'm sorry.
You need coffee.
Yeah, you need that caffeine, that Java. Okay, so I think all of our lists are going to be similar to an extent.
So
I guess I'll kind of, I was debating whether to start. I'll start with my number 10 and I'll hit runner-ups before I reveal number 1. My number 10, Promising Young Woman. This is one that I came into late in the game. I watched literally just a few weeks ago while we were on break, trying to catch up on things that I had missed throughout the year. And this was one of them. I had heard some stuff about it. Just the name of it didn't seem like something that I was going to like, but I was hearing enough about it that I was like, let me try it. I turned it on, and I kid you not, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I was hooked. And I was like, I'm going to like this. And it just took me on a wild ride. And if anyone hasn't seen it, it's on HBO. Go watch that because it's a very good movie. My number 9, I'm surprised this didn't come up. Oh, granted, we haven't heard from Seth, but I'm surprised this didn't come up with either Dan and Kayla. My number 9 is Black Widow. Getting a lot of head shakes. I was more so by the opening sequence, but I loved Black Widow. Like I said, I think we talked about it when it happened. That opening really did it for me. It sold me on the whole movie. I wasn't anticipating that kind of movie. And then I think later in the movie it kind of turned into what I was anticipating, but not in a bad way. It's just like it started me off with something to remember. Like I remember that opening very well. And it left a big enough impact that I have it in my top 10. Number 8, Tick, Tick, Boom. Another musical, which I don't do musicals, but I've watched a lot lately for some reason. Andrew Garfield is another one of those cats that I'm starting to have a whole new appreciation for. I'm just throw it out there. Do not enjoy his Spider-Man movies. Still don't. But I enjoyed him in Spider-Man No Way Home. Spoilers. But yeah, so the more I see of him, the more I'm enjoying him, which sounds dirtier than I mean it, but you know what I mean. What was that, number 8? So my number 7, Ghostbusters Afterlife. This was so much fun. This was one of only 2 movies that I went to the theater in 2021 to see more than once. If you know me, you know that if I really like something, I will go multiple times to go see something. And there's certainly movies on this list that I wanted to go see more or still may go see more, but I just haven't gotten to yet. But in 2021, I only went to the theater to see the same thing on 2 different occasions. This was one of them. I just loved it. I think I talked about how the first time I watched it, I was and then I watched this one and it gave me a whole new respect for the original. But I still have more fun with this one. This one, it does what it set out to do, which was capture a new audience, but still capturing the magic of the original. So it was a fantastic job, as Kayla says. Number 6, Dune. Timothy Chalamet. That's all I'm going to say. Number 5, halfway point, Cruella.
Wow.
This was the sleeper, if you will, for me, because I did not expect this to be nearly as good as it was. I went into this almost not even wanting to watch it,
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, whatever. I'll get 20, 30 minutes into it and shut it off because it'll be dumb, or it'll be a shot for shot remake of 101 Dalmatians or something. And it was not. It was beautifully told. It was very visually, and it hit all the right marks. And Emma Stone
Mhm.
is fantastic as Cruella, and I hear they're making a second one, and I am there for it. So Cruella is my number 5. My number 4, Shang-Chi. For the longest time, this was my number 1. It wasn't until recently that my picks got rearranged. But this comes in number 4 for me, another one where I just had a lot of fun. And if I can go into a movie and just have a really good time, then you've done it. You've done your job. If you can make me just have fun like a kid, then you've done your job. If you can make me cry, you've done your job. And if you can make me really, really laugh, which is the hardest probably because I have a really picky, weird sense of humor. But if you can make me laugh, then you've done your job. So Shang-Chi hit the mark on the comedy and the fun, and it was just a good time. My number 3, this was also my number 1 pick for a long time this year, because I start a list early on. Like, I've already started my list for 2022, and I've only seen 2 things this year. And speaking of movies that I went to the theater twice to see, or more than once to see, I went to see this movie twice, and that would be A Quiet Place Part 2. This was another shocker where I kind of figured it would be good, but I wasn't ready for it to be equally as good as the original. Very few movies come close to the original when you're talking about a sequel, let alone surpass it. I think A Quiet Place Part 2 easily comes close and comes right up to the original. I mean, you could watch them both as one whole movie and just, one giant story. And it could be argued that it even surpasses it in some aspects. So, I don't know how you pronounce his first name. I'm always back and forth on it, but let's just say Cillian Murphy.
Oh yeah.
Or Killian. I don't know how you say it, but he was a welcome addition to the cast of that story. My number 2, then I'll hit a couple runner-ups. No Time to Die. The James Bond flick was beautifully done. Dan and Kelly, you haven't seen it, right? Okay, so I won't spoil anything, but it was so good, and the perfect send-off for Daniel Craig. And that's one that I wish I had gone back to see again in the theater, but I now own. That was a day it came out, bought it. And I haven't watched it again yet, but that's not for lack of liking it. It's just I haven't had time, but I own it. So, No Time to Die is definitely one, obviously my number 2. So it's one of my favorites of the whole year. Before I hit number 1 very quickly, I'm not going to name a bunch, but I'm just going to name a couple movies that are runner-ups that were in my top 10 throughout the year that I had to unfortunately bump, that I kind of felt that, like, I felt really guilty bumping these movies. Like, it was weird. Like I was going to hurt their feelings or something. Like, I can't take that out, but I had to. So one of those is Luca. Luca, the Pixar movie that Kayla was speaking of. Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So that's how you tell a story. The other, Val, the documentary on Val Kilmer. Seth and I watched that together in a sense that we both started at the same time and we're texting each other through it. But that might be what helped the experience. But it was a beautifully done documentary, and it really made you not only appreciate Val Kilmer more, but really make you feel for everything that he's gone through with his cancer and everything. And it kind of makes you, sad in some aspects, but happy that, he's still with us. He may not be the same anymore, but he's still here.
And he's in good spirits too.
He's
Let's
in
not forget
very
that.
good spirits, and it shows. It comes across. He's like a 5-year-old kid, considering everything that he's gone through recently. And I only name one more. My last runner up, Palmer. I don't know if anyone caught this. This was not a big thing, but the Justin Timberlake Apple Plus, Apple TV, whatever it's called, movie, which I don't even have Apple TV, but I think I was on a free subscription or something, or a trial or something, and I happened to, the timing just worked so I could catch it. That movie was very good. And that surprised me. And I know Justin Timberlake has always been a decent actor, at least in my opinion, but it's been a while since he's done anything. And I was very pleasantly surprised at how much I liked that movie. And the story was heartwarming and touching as well. So my number one, if there was ever any doubt, is Spider-Man No Way Home. Don't need to say everything that's already been said, but I said it last time I think we were here. Best movie of 2021, arguably the best Marvel movie ever made. I was older when the Toby, sorry, having senior moment. When Tobey Maguire, that movie, and the Andrew Garfield movie came out. I mean, obviously I'm older when the Tom Holland movie came out as well, but like a lot of people were like, oh, that's my childhood. And like I was like in my double digits. I don't know how old I was, but when the first Spider-Man movie came out, I was at least 10, 11, 12, something like that. And not that has anything to do with it other than I didn't grow up with it. Like it was just there. Whereas my middle brother did grow up with it. And so like, he's all in for it. He's one of those people that are like, oh my God. But it was what I'm getting at. It was great seeing those guys. And I was right there when they all came in and you saw the reveal of Andrew Garfield and then Toby. I can't even remember his name. Tobey Maguire shows up. And the banter back and forth between all three Spider-Man was great. The dialogue was great. The script was great. The story was great. What I was getting at with the I didn't grow up with the two thing is that for me, Tom Holland is my Spider-Man. He made me a Spider-Man fan. So I would have went to see this movie even if the other two Spider-Man weren't in it. But I think that they definitely helped. And I think that the story, it sold the audience and it sold people that even weren't really necessarily fans yet of Tom Holland. Because again, major spoilers, and I won't go deep, but the end of this movie really sets him up to be more like, I guess, the comic book Spider-Man and more I mean, he kind of loses everything and he has to kind of start over. So you see him suffer that hurt. I mean, it could be argued that he lost Tony Stark. Thank you. That he lost Tony Stark, but he never really had that big personal loss. And that happens in this movie in multiple ways. And I think it was just a beautifully done movie. And like I said, I wasn't like screaming like a 15-year-old girl when the two other Spider-Men showed up, but I enjoyed it all the same. They were welcome. Willem Dafoe was effing fantastic. Give that man an award. Now, this year, when The Flash comes out and Michael Keaton walks out on screen as Batman, seeing that's someone I grew up with. So I'll be in the theater screaming like a 15-year-old girl when that moment happens. And I'll probably be the only one. But anyway.
I'll be right there with you.
Thank you. I've taken enough of the time. So, Seth, why don't you bring us home with your top 10?
All right. My list is way different than your guys' list, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. So we're going to start things off with number 10, which everyone here has appeared to love. Even our little cameos have appeared to love this movie. The Green Knight is my number 10. Sure, it was weird. It's a little bit different, but I had fun with it. It was one of those that I was like on the fence of checking out, and didn't want to watch it. Didn't know if I was gonna like love it or hate it. I watched it and I was like, yeah, I enjoyed that. It's actually pretty good for what it was. But yeah. Anyway, number 9. I'm surprised no one else talked about this, but Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour epic superhero extravaganza that it was. Definitely improved upon the original Justice League movie. I don't think there's any reason ever to have a 4-hour superhero movie. I don't care if it's exactly what you get to make. There's no reason for it to be 4 hours. But it was still really good, and I enjoyed it very much. And I can't say I've seen it again. Not that I don't want to watch it again. Just it's 4 hours. Like there's no rewatchability there. That's why it's so low. Following that is The Suicide Squad. I actually just recently rewatched that one again. We went to a New Year's Eve party and they turned that one on, and I was like, yeah, I still really enjoyed this movie. You know, it's still fun. It's not like a phenomenal movie, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Then after that will be House of Gucci, which I actually went to the theater to go see, and had a really good time with that one. Performances were great. Lady Gaga was phenomenal. I'm a big Adam Driver fan. He and I actually share the same birthday, so thought that was cool. And yeah, that one. I thought I was gonna enjoy it, and I was pleasantly surprised when I did enjoy it as much as I did. And a little side note on that one is that is literally one of Al Pacino's best performances, especially in his older career. I don't hate Al Pacino. I just don't think he's like the end all be all greatest actor. An argument can be made for his younger career, but all in all, I just feel like he's not on the level of like Robert De Niro or something. But this movie, he was fantastic in. All right. Moving on to number 6 is Shang-Chi. Went to the theater to go see this one and had a really, really great time watching that. It was a lot of fun. Didn't even know anything about the character. My dad and I, we enjoy like Kung Fu movies and stuff like that. So we were like, absolutely, let's go see that. But we didn't have any idea like what was like going to happen or anything, and loved it. Actually just rewatched it recently with my mom, and she had the greatest time ever watching it. And just seeing her excitement really made the movie even better for me. I think I enjoyed it more the second time around just because of how excited she got watching it. But now to my halfway point, we're going to kick it off with Dune. Another one I went to go to the theater to go see. And honestly, that's one of my favorite theater experiences. Just what a cool movie to see on the big screen. Just, I don't know, I want more of it. That's all I can really say is give me more of that universe or whatever you want to call it. It's just very exciting. And I didn't really think I was a big sci-fi fan. Like I thought I was, but then I go to think about it. I'm like, well, really, I'm in like Star Wars, so I can't really say I'm a sci-fi fan. This movie has kind of made me branch out a bit more with my sci-fi fandom, I guess. Number 4 is Nobody. Just fantastic movie. I'm a big action movie fan. It's like that's my bread and butter. Love me some action, and this movie was so much fun to watch in the theater. I remember my dad and I went to go see it, and he leaned over to me. He's like, now this is a movie, and just theater thing was like he and I, and then like maybe one other group behind us. So there was like nobody there, and just we all just had a ball watching this one. If you haven't seen it, please check it out, especially if you're an action fan. All right, now the top 3, and this might bother some people, but it is what it is. Spider-Man: No Way Home is number 3 for me. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I have been since I was a little kid. I enjoy the Tom Holland movies, but I don't like that he's basically Ferris Bueller in a Spider-Man costume. Can't stand that. Now I grew up with Tobey Maguire, and that's not even I'm not even like biased because he's like I grew up with him. It's just those are genuinely phenomenal movies. Tobey Maguire, great actor. I don't care what anyone says. But so seeing him on the screen again was really cool. I think Andrew Garfield is a fantastic actor. I just hadn't seen his Spider-Man movies until after I watched this. I went back and I rewatched those or watched them for the first time. And the end of this movie made me extremely excited for what happens next with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But before the villains and the new Spider-Man came, old Spider-Man came in, sorry. I found myself just kind of like squirming in my seat. Honestly, I didn't enjoy it. It was just waiting for those two to come in was what I was like really there to see, I guess, because I'm not such a huge Tom Holland Spider-Man fan. Now, number 2 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. This was actually watched it on my birthday. Came out on my birthday. I took myself to go see it on my birthday because I'm that kind of guy. And what a movie. That's just, I literally have no gripes whatsoever with it. Just none. I left the theater thinking, I was like, what can I possibly complain about with this movie? I couldn't come up with anything. The cast is great. Love seeing the original Ghostbusters pop up. And honestly, if they didn't even pop in, it still would have been fantastic because the new cast is just so great. Please give me more. I want sequels. I need a TV show. I need everything. So just I love that movie so much. It was really, really good. Now my number 1 is No Time to Die. I'm a newer James Bond fan. I've kind of sprinkled in watching some of them, but I've seen every Daniel Craig James Bond movie, and this one was just, it blew me away. I watched them all before I went to go see this. It was like a little like semi-marathon. I didn't watch them all in like one time, but I found myself really attached to the Daniel Craig version of James Bond more so than any of the other ones, and this is such a satisfying conclusion to his character. Like, I know Matt, he's said this, but I totally agree with him. If they never made another James Bond movie again, I'd be perfectly content. I don't feel like I need to see any more James Bond after watching this one movie. It's that good. It's a phenomenal conclusion. And another one where I have no gripes about. There's just action's fantastic. Story is great. Heart-wrenching. It's just what a movie. If you haven't seen it, Dan and Kayla, please go out of your way to watch it. Even if
by go out of his way, he means come over to Matt's house. You don't live that far. Come
yeah,
watch
go to
it.
Matt's house. Maybe I'll show up.
Right,
Who
you
knows?
got it. That's right.
Movie night. Hello.
But yes, that one caps off my top 10 of the year, and it's just 10 out of 10.
No runner-ups for you? No awful?
I had a hard enough time making 10, so
Jeez Louise. Well, I will argue that Spider-Man No Way Home at number 3 is a little bit of a bummer.
I
for
am at
me.
number 2. So.
I'll give you a couple awfuls. Coming
yeah.
to America, horrible. Home Sweet Home Alone, not good. Space Jam 2,
Oh yeah, that was awful.
terrible. The Tomorrow War, as you mentioned, not good. Paranormal Activity on Paramount Plus. Ridiculous. Spiral, WTF. And then I'll throw one more. Let's say, here's one that might be a little controversial. Boss Baby 2. Did not like it. Loved Boss Baby 1. I was there for Boss Baby 1. Boss Baby 2, nope, not at all.
Anyway.
We are here to talk about The Edge, ladies and gentlemen. We are over an hour
in.
We are over an hour recording this, and we are just now talking about our feature presentation. We unbeknowingly talked about each of our father's favorite movies, and when I realized this, or when Dan realized this and pointed it out to me, I said, or he said, you got to get, your dad's favorite movie. And so I asked him, and that turned into a whole thing. But this is the one that I picked for him because I believe that this is probably his favorite movie. And I say that because he and I have watched this together multiple times, and probably since 97 when it came out, he and I quote this movie to each other all the time. And there's one line in particular, which I'll get to in a second.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that is.
And so I guess I'll just go in. I'll try to keep it short and sweet because I know we're over an hour and people don't watch us as it is. So we'll try to hold people's attention. This movie I watched, okay, ready? This was the very first rated R movie I was allowed to watch. So that has history to me. And I might have seen bits and pieces of other R-rated movies before this, but this was the first one where my parents said, yes, we've seen it. Like I remember my mom and my dad, who were together at the time, went to the movie theater to watch it. And I was with a babysitter. And I remember even then I was an Alec Baldwin fan. And I asked, I wanted to go so bad. And they, it was rated R, they didn't know what was in it. So they said no. So I stayed with the babysitter. They came back and I was like, how was it? And they were like, it's really good. And you would probably watch it. So when it came out on VHS, I begged and begged and begged for them to buy it. They finally did. And they said, yes, you can sit and watch this. So it was the first R-rated movie that I was allowed to actually watch. And so that it just left a huge impact on me for that reason. And because, like I mentioned, I'm a Baldwin fan, and the story, as simple as it is, it's just done so well. And part of that is Anthony Hopkins. That man is amazing in just about everything he does. And he's one of those actors like Al Pacino, or young Pacino, where no matter what he does, I believe that he's that character. When he is in The Silence of the Lambs, I believe he might eat me. When he is in The Edge, I believe he is this book smart, wealthy man that's married to this young woman that he has no business being with. But
when he's in Dracula, you believe he's gonna kill vampires.
Well, yes, he wasn't a vampire in Dracula.
He was vampire killer, is what I said.
Yes. Okay. But you get the picture. He's one of those that I almost don't even see Anthony Hopkins when I'm watching him. I see that character. And for an actor to do that, very few actors do that. Young Pacino, Hopkins, Gary Oldman, those are the three that jumped to my mind right away. And here's no exception. I just realized too, I'm sorry, Dan, we usually do stats, don't we?
He's just staring at his screen.
So I apologize, but let me just say this. So when you do your review, you can just throw the stats in there. I apologize, I stole it from you. I totally did not mean to. But because I was starting to talk about things, I was like, wait, Dan didn't mention that. Oh, because Dan didn't mention anything. Because Matt's just trying to jump the gun. Anyway, the premise of the story, which I'm sure Dan will touch on, these guys get lost, their plane goes down, they're in the wilderness, and you know, they're not necessarily bitter enemies, but they're not necessarily friends, and they kind of have to rely on each other to get out of there alive. And you know, this is one of my favorite Alec Baldwin performances. You know, he plays this sleazy guy that you don't like, and he hits the nail on the head. Yeah, I said that right. He hits the nail right on the head, and he's that guy that, you know, again, you talk about believable. I believe that he is that guy, and that, you know, he's, spoilers, you know, sleeping with Anthony Hopkins' wife, and you know, it's just fun. It's just a fun movie. The line that my dad and I say to each other all the time is my favorite scene in this movie, and it's possibly my favorite scene in any movie. And I say that not really thinking about other scenes in other movies, but this scene stands out to me as one of the best scenes for me of all time. And it's a scene where Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin are sitting around a fire. They've had some run-ins with a bear. And, you know, the bear has killed one of their friends, and Alec Baldwin is to the point where he's about ready to give up. Anthony Hopkins is having him make a spear. And Alec Baldwin says, "What are we going to do, Charles?" Well, is she laughing? Is something happening? Okay. Baldwin says, "What are we going to do?" And Anthony Hopkins' response is, "We're going to kill the bear." And Baldwin's like, "We can't kill the bear. You know, he's following us. He's one step ahead of us. You know, he's a man eater." And Hopkins says, "Well, I'm going to kill the bear. I'm going to get out of here alive." And he throws the knife to Alec Baldwin and says, say, "I'm going to kill the bear." And keeps repeating it. Say it, I'm going to kill the bear. And finally Baldwin gives in and says, "I'm going to kill the bear." And he says, "Say it again. I'm going to kill the bear. Say it again. I'm going to kill the bear." And it just becomes this big back and forth. And he's like, "What one man can do, another can do." And then Baldwin repeats, "What one man can do, another can do." And at the end of that, he says, Anthony Hopkins says, "Today, I'm going to kill that MFer." And so that's my favorite scene, and possibly of all time, because it's just it pumps me up, like it gets me going. And then my dad and I quote, "What one man can do, another can do," all the time. Like since I was a kid, you know, if I'm like struggling with something, or like I can't do something and I'm asking him for help, he will say to me, even in text or in person or over the phone, his response most of the time, if I can't do something or if I'm struggling with something, will be, "What one man can do, another can do." And then just randomly at times, he'll just lean over to me and say, "I'm going to kill the bear." And it's just a little thing inside between him and I that, you know, this is our movie. Like if there was a movie that was my and my dad's movie, it is this. And so for all those reasons mentioned, I love this movie. I give it an 8 out of 10.
I'll jump in here and I'll go second. Sorry, Dan. Stats have to wait. So this is actually the first movie after Matt and I became friends he recommended to me. This is back in the days when I still actually listened to Matt's opinion on things, and so I watched this movie probably like, what is it, a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I really enjoyed it the first time I watched it. Really engaging. Anthony Hopkins is phenomenal. Alec Baldwin was good in it. But I just watched it again last night, I believe, just to freshen up a little bit and make sure I still remember everything that actually happened in it. and it still holds up. It's a good movie, a lot of fun, and a really interesting story. I'm a sucker for the bear, though. I like all the bear scenes in it. But my favorite scene in the movie is actually not the same as you, Matt. Like it's good, but I like the one where Alec Baldwin is on the brink of um, giving up, and it's kind of a callback to when they first get out in the wilderness, and Anthony Hopkins says how most men die in the wilderness because they just simply
They die of
lose the will
shame.
to live. Yeah, die of shame. That's the quote. Well, I don't remember exactly when this scene happens. I know I just watched it last night, but my mind is foggy. But Alec Baldwin's laying on the ground. He's just defeated. He no one wants to give up. He wants to die of shame, pretty much. And Anthony Hopkins he realizes that, and he just says, "Hey, did you know you can build fire out of ice?" And he repeats it until he finally asks him, "How do you do that?" And gets him back in the game and gets him back in wanting to survive and get out of there. Because they can't get out of there alone. Out of there, they're both getting out of there, or they're both dying. There's no, one of us gets out of here. But yeah, that's my favorite scene, and I just think movie's really well done, and Anthony Hopkins is just fantastic. Probably give it 7 out of 10 for me.
So that's another great scene.
Do you want to go or you want me to go?
I'm gonna hop in real quick before we both catch another giggle fit. I'm not exactly sure why Kayla was cracking up, but I was personally laughing. When she started laughing, I don't know why, I just started visualizing the number of times that the name Charles was said in this film, and I cracked up.
Matt, when you edit this footage, you will probably see why I laughed. And I want you to keep it to yourself. Please.
You're not gonna tell me either.
Who made
It's
you
actually
laugh?
kind of embarrassing.
Is
Who
it
did it?
something that you did, or is it, which screen should
No,
I
it's
be
something
looking
I
at?
did.
Okay. So you weren't laughing at me.
I was laughing at myself.
Okay.
No, I was not laughing at you. I
Okay.
feel like an idiot.
Okay.
Maybe we should just cut that old part.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we
It's
cut
hard to
the-
cut because I was talking the whole time.
No, I mean like
I
this
was
part.
not trying to laugh
Oh.
at you. I did something really stupid in the camera, and you will probably see it.
Did you
when,
poke yourself in your eye?
No,
Yeah.
Did you pick your nose?
no, you will probably see it when you edit it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. He probably would never
Oh my god,
notice
I'm
if he didn't
so
say anything.
embarrassed. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, now I'm gonna be looking, but if you hadn't said anything, I might not have even.
It's gonna.
Okay.
He's
So-
gonna enlarge it
All right,
whenever
I'm
he
done.
edits.
I stole the
we
stats
did-
from you, Dan. So sorry.
I'm trying to be serious the rest of the time.
Give it your all.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So I know it's kind of backwards, but overall budget for this movie was estimated to be around $30 million. Gross worldwide ended up pulling in 43,312,000. So not a total break even, a little bit of a profit there. So good all. I know you've already gave the synopsis of the story, so a couple things I wanted to go over. So the bear that was used in the movie was named Bart the Bear. It was actually 24 years old when he passed away in the year 2000. This was one of the final movies that he was ever in. He had total screen time. Supposedly they did some edits and things. Bart the Bear himself was in this for about 5 minutes and 40 some seconds. Really seems longer than that when you're watching the film. I'm not exactly sure if they used other bears or what the deal was, because it definitely seemed longer than that for sure. So also the plane that was used in the beginning of this movie, guys, does that look familiar to you at all?
No,
Thinking a movie with Harrison Ford, maybe?
no.
Indiana Jones.
No.
It's
But,
the Millennium Falcon.
Blade
No.
Runner.
Yeah, same plane that was used in 6 Days and 7 Nights.
Oh,
So interesting. I
was.
just thought that was just a weird thing that the plane like came up again. This is actually not the first film either that Anthony Hopkins had worked with Bart the Bear. Legends of the Fall, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. He had been in that with him as well. So I thought that was kind of an interesting fact. Matt, you talk about Anthony Hopkins, just how an amazing actor he is. Personally, in this movie, I will give him some credit. because apparently he had a slip disc in his back the entire time that he was like filming. So he said that he channeled that into his work to make it look like he was going through pain, like because he was actually in pain during this whole thing. So to get through a movie where he's having to run, jump, bend over, whatever, like that's a lot of work, especially when you're doing a presentation like this. So awesome job to him. I know you guys were talking a lot about your favorite scenes from the film. So I guess personally, my favorite scene in this was actually closer to the end when he gets off the helicopter. He'd been rescued. He's about to confront his wife, and he stops and he's staring at the guy, and he's like, "Do you know how the rabbit was it survived?
Why is the rabbit unafraid?
Why is the rabbit not afraid? Because he's smarter than the panther." And I thought that was just a great thing that summarized the whole movie to me. Because in the end, like we know Alec Baldwin had hidden intentions, or Robert, sorry, had hidden intentions to get rid of Charles. And I'm almost kind of wondering, because I don't think any of this was planned from the offset, but I'm almost wondering if Anthony Hopkins' character Charles put that notion into his head, like, what are you going to kill me, like at the start of the movie, that okay, now he's got a chance, he's got a gun, they're alone, like he knows that we're having an affair, should I just go ahead and off him. And then also the character Charles, I thought was really dynamic in a movie that I think they tried to push a lot on, like the survival aspect. The fact that he was so nice to every single character he encountered, and he was the rich one that was out of touch with the rest of people. And honestly, I feel like that character is actually Robert, that was out of touch the entire time. But I mean, Charles, had really good survival instincts, and even when it came to the man that had tried to kill him a little bit before, he goes down into the pit and gets him back out and tries to nurse him to health. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. But literally, the man tried to kill him, and he was the first one to get down there. He pops the bullets out of the gun. He's ready to go. So overall, I'm not going to say that it was my favorite Anthony Hopkins movie, but I'd probably rate this movie probably about 6.5 for me. I thought it was decent. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right, so it's my turn. Let's see. Let me think about this. So this was kind of like more of a comedic movie than anything for me. I found myself laughing more than I did actually anything else during this movie. I thought the bear scenes were hilarious. I thoroughly enjoyed the bear scenes. They were great. The bear was my favorite character. I'm sorry, but he was awesome. I mean, that bear, if you can teach a bear to act, that's freaking crazy.
He was in over 20 films.
Yeah. So I am going to say one thing, because like everybody else has touched on with Anthony Hopkins, there is something about Anthony Hopkins, like, that makes him the phenomenal actor that he is. He carries that air, like that, like aura, everything, everywhere he goes, in every single role that he plays. And I think that is what held this movie together. Ultimately, I don't feel like Alec Baldwin was strong in this movie at all. And you can tell by just having Anthony Hopkins in any scene that they're in together, who is the reigning actor in that scene for me. I don't feel like I was convinced by Alec Baldwin at all. And I typically like Alec Baldwin. I don't mind him. Loved him in 30 Rock, but here there was just something, I don't feel like he compared to Anthony at all in this film. But my entirely favorite thing in this movie, and I think you touched on it just a tiny bit, is that every single person in this film treated Anthony Hopkins' character as almost the underdog in the whole entire thing. You have all this foreshadowing of he's reading this survival book, he gets this knife, he gets blah, 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 but then you actually get him into the grit, and he has this expansive knowledge that just blows your mind about the gun. You can put gunpowder to season meat, like all this stuff. And that's the thing that I truly cared for, is that everybody, I feel like, underestimated him, that he's just some rich bougie guy with an airplane, and that, you know, he would never survive. He would never, all he has is his money, and that's what he's worth. And that one guy that came to him to building that little what have you there, I mean, that's all people saw was his wealth. And I think it shows you that deep down he was a caring, intelligent man who ultimately was the only reason that they got to where they were and all this stuff. But yeah, I really was not particularly fond of this movie. It was not my favorite by any means. Like I said, I really did laugh at the bear parts, because they were just wild as all get out. I was like, when he was tearing that dude up by that leg, that was the craziest I've ever seen. Anyway, I give this movie a 5 out of 10. It wasn't my favorite, but like I said, Anthony Hopkins, I think, carried this film, and I'll leave it right at that.
I'm gonna have just a little rebuttal to what Kayla's, well, just a difference in opinion, I guess. I agree with the fact of what you're saying, like Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins in the same scenes made Alec Baldwin look less professional, but I almost feel like it played into like the story as a whole, because I mean, he is meant to be like somebody who doesn't have the wealth or the fame or the stature that Anthony Hopkins had, and I feel like it was intentional more so than just like bad acting. Like I feel like that's what he was kind of going for there. So I do think that Alec Baldwin had some chops to him on that. Like I just wouldn't completely write off his performance. That's,
Oh my God, the amount of times he said Charles, gosh, it was just driving me
yeah,
crazy.
87 times supposedly.
And it was every single
Really?
thing. It was
Yeah.
Charles, blah, blah, blah. Charles.
Yeah, the last scene,
Charles. And I'm
two
like,
scenes
oh
with
my
them in it
God.
it was crazy.
Yes, it was like every other sentence, it was Charles. And I was like,
Yeah.
Charles what? We know his name. It was, oh, that was driving me crazy. Anyway.
Just to bounce off of you, Dan, but the end, and how nice he was, Anthony Hopkins' character, to everybody. And that goes to show, even at the end, another one of my favorite moments is the very end, the very last line of this movie. You know, he's given his wife the watch that Robert or Bob was wearing, which she had given him because they were having an affair. And he hands it to her, and she realizes that not only is Bob not coming back, but her husband knows that what she's been doing. And he goes up the steps, and all the reporters are there, and they're asking him, you know, where are your friends? You know, what happened to them? How did they die? And rather than saying, oh, well, they got mauled by a bear, or, you know, one tried to kill me, you know, he protects their honor and their legacy. And he says, they died saving my life. And in one aspect, he did that to protect them. I fully believe that. But another aspect, it's fully true. Because just as how those other two characters, Baldwin and the other character, which forgive me, I don't know that actor's name, but just as they wouldn't have gotten as far as they got without Anthony Hopkins, in the terms of the story, I also fully don't believe that Anthony Hopkins would have gotten as far as he got without them. Because had it not been for them, he wouldn't have had someone to, like, his whole goal was to get them out of there. If they hadn't been there, I don't know that his character would have survived. And not because he necessarily couldn't have, but because would he have died of shame? You know, would he have, you know, been strong enough to get out without having a reason to get out, you know? So I just love that line. And then I just also wanted to throw a sidebar. This movie has such an impact on me that I made a movie, if that's what you want to call it, back in 2012 called The Soldier, and it is about a man whose plane goes down and gets trapped in the woods. There's no bear, but a lot of elements from this movie I included in The Soldier just because it has such a huge impact on me. So thank you everyone for watching it. Thank you for your opinions and views, even though some of us see things different. That's why we do this. Any last words on The Edge?
It was like The Revenant before The Revenant, honestly.
It was.
That bear would not stop. Every time I was screaming, I was like, why? Where is the bear coming from? It was crazy.
The bear's even listed in the credits. So like that's how you know the bear was legit. Like it's set Anthony Hopkins, Charles, Alec Baldwin, Robert, Bart the Bear.
No,
Bear.
Bart the Bear was the very first one that got any kind of recognition. Like it said, special thanks to Bart the
Yeah.
Bear,
Right.
and to blah blah blah. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah, it was
You're
pretty
right.
cool.
you're the
Yeah.
star of the whole movie, Bear.
It was pretty cool.
So that's The Edge, everybody. If you haven't seen it and are interested after watching this, well, first of all, why are you watching this if you haven't seen it? But if you haven't seen it and are just watching us, thank you. And you might want to check it out. It is on Stars. So check that out if you're interested. We're back. Season 2. First of all, follow us on the Instagram and the Facebook. We are at oh God, where are we at these days on Facebook? and
Picture
Instagram?
this film.
It's late as we record this. It is late. It is past my bedtime. At Picture This film reviews or movie reviews. We'll throw it up on the screen, whatever it is. It's been a few weeks since I've had to do
Yeah.
this. So it's down here somewhere right now where you kids can see where we are. And of course, you're watching this on youtube.com/Studio29Films. But we're not ending though, because we got to talk about next week. Of course, we're back. So that means we're going to be back every week. As the rotation would have it, it is Seth's turn to pick a movie and host next week. So, Mr. Seth, the floor is yours.
I want the rabbit out of the hat and say I did not even know I had to pick this week. I had 5 weeks to pick, and I didn't even know I had 5 weeks to pick. So this is kind of spur of the moment. I had two things bouncing around in my head, and I'm gonna go with the pick that I wasn't quite sure about because I think it'd be more interesting that way. This is a movie I've actually seen before, and I was not huge on it, but I am open to watching it again because I think a second watch might make it a little bit better.
Is it Speed?
No, it is not.
Oh,
No, because this is not the safe pick for me. That I will say my safe pick off the air, but what we're gonna watch for this week is gonna be Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, wow.
Ryan Gosling starring. I don't know if y'all have seen it. I don't think Matt has. Okay. So have you guys seen it?
No.
Okay, so this is actually exciting. So we can get fresh views on this.
Quick question. Do I have to see Blade Runner before I watch Blade Runner 2049?
No, you do not.
Okay.
So there's a part of the movie where like it's a callback to the original, but it's not necessary, and they do a pretty good job of explaining like what's going on, so you won't be lost. You'd have a better appreciation for it if you saw it in the first one.
Okay.
This is playing on HBO Max, and I apologize. It is 2 hours and 45 minutes. I know.
My God.
I don't want to watch a 3-hour movie either, but we're gonna do it anyway. So,
What are you doing?
You just
But,
complained about Justice League.
I know.
Or whatever the heck it was called.
oh yeah, it's
God.
but no, it's a really visually outstanding movie. Visuals are great. Ryan Gosling is really good. it's a really like subtle performance by him, and I believe Kayla, you said that you like that. So I don't know. I think I'm thinking y'all might think it's all right. I know you're gonna like it better than my other 2 picks. So but yeah, that'll be a pick for next week.
Cool. Looking forward to it. That should be fun.
Yes.
Blade
Please don't
Runner.
fall asleep during it. It is 3 hours long.
This does have Harrison Ford in it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you ruined it. Yes, it does.
I was gonna say it's right on the
It's on the
poster.
front cover. Is
It
it?
doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah.
It's that's like saying, oh, Tom Holland is not in Spider-Man.
We don't know. We haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Well,
Blade Runner 2049, HBO Max, if you'd like to watch with us and come back and do this with us again next week. It hopefully won't be as long of an episode. We had a lot to catch up on. We've been gone for a few weeks, so
This episode was as long as the movie Blade Runner 2049.
it wasn't quite that long, but it's almost as long as The Edge. So with that said, we won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much for following us. If you don't follow us, please change that. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Leave your comments. We will watch what you leave us, and we will talk about it within a relatively short time. We do the rotation thing, but when people leave us comments and tell us, we get to it within a few weeks. So, definitely do that. If you like what you're seeing, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. If you hate what you're seeing, give us a thumbs down. Give us some interaction. If
no,
you
there's
don't,
no more likes. I mean, there's no more dislikes on YouTube now.
there's not? Oh, well, then
Nope.
just comment and tell us that you hate
It's
us.
all likes.
And if you don't like how one of us talks too much, tell us to shut up. Just interact with us.
Oh. If you make it this far into the video, comment, I made it, and the
Yeah.
first one will get a special shout out in the next video.
Oh my
True
God,
facts.
Dan.
I'll go one further. If you made it this far, comment that you made it, and we will get you on the show as a special guest to talk about whatever movie we're talking about that week. How about that?
Down for it.
Once
Yeah,
in a
that'd be
lifetime
cool.
opportunity here, guys.
You get to
gotta bring
meet
it.
some really cool people.
Does that mean we're gonna lose one of our viewers?
That was,
That's what that means, because they won't watch their own episode.
oh geez, yeah, we kind of set ourselves up for that one.
Oh well.
Now we're gonna have 2 views.
Everybody, thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed The Edge. Hopefully you enjoyed us. Hopefully you enjoy Blade Runner 2049. Happy New Year, everybody. 2022, hopefully it's going to be a great year. Everybody, catch you next week. Love one
Bye.
another.
See you guys.